Welcome to the Super Extraordinary Podcast with Katie
and Meredith.
And we're super extraordinary.
As said in the title.
So we're going to start with our summary, and so for chapter 13, you can go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So Aunt Alexandra comes to stay with the kids and Atticus, try to provide a feminine influence for the kids, but it's more for Scout. And so Aunt Alexandra is like pretty proper. She integrates quickly with the Maycomb community. She tries to she's also trying to change the household. So she's kind of forcing Atticus to talk to his children about gentle breeding. It goes really bad. And then, yeah, she just wants to better the household.
Yeah. So basically what happens in chapter 14, Scout talks to Atticus about Calpurnia's church, and then Aunt Alexandra's kind of being weird about it. She's like, no, you can't go there over there again or whatever. Anyway, so basically, Jem and Scout get into a fight later, and afterwards Atticus breaks it up and they have to go to bed, but Scout comes across Dill under her bed. And then Jem just jumps to action, and she goes and tells Atticus, because Atticus pulls up and they convince that Dill can stay longer. These are the discussion questions.
Pay attention. Okay. How is the trial affecting Atticus's way of parenting? And do you think he's losing his control of the kids?
So to answer kind of the first part, I feel like Atticus is super worried about the trial, and so since he's kind of on edge, he's gained this new sort of parenting, and it's more straightforward and direct, and the kids haven't really seen it, and he wants them to be more proper. And I feel like Aunt Alexandra is a very big impact on that.
Yeah, and now that the kids are getting older, it's easier for them to get exposed to things like the trial. And Atticus, he doesn't want them to know about stuff like that, and he kind of just feels like he lost control of all that stuff.
Yeah, and I feel for is he losing control or whatever? I think he kind of is. Yeah. I mean, not total control, but still a little bit, because the kids are I feel like he's trying to keep it so the kids aren't exposed to all the stuff about the trial, even though they're obviously being exposed to it because they're getting made fun of in the town and stuff. And in chapter 13, he obviously goes to talk to the kids, and he's wants them to do these morals that Aunt Alexandra wants. So it's kind of weird, because he knows that he shouldn't be that that's not what he would do.
Yeah,
kind of thing. So you can see him kind of drifting away from his usual thing. So that's kind of him losing control.
Yeah, and also Atticus feels like he's unable to protect the children from the realities and the racism, the gossip going on in Maycomb, and he feels there's nothing he can do, and he feels he's kind of losing his morals and values of the parenting. He kind of has one that stays, and so when Aunt Alexandra says they should fire Calpurnia, Atticus stands his ground, and he won't. He's no, we're not firing her.
Yeah, and then also I feel Atticus is letting these few things slide. What else is he gonna let slide?
Yeah.
So discussion question number 2. How has the family structure of the Finch house changed now that Aunt Alexandra is there, and how is it affecting the kids?
I think one of the biggest change in the Finch family is how it's way more strict before. Before Aunt Alexandra came in, the kids were more used to kind of a friendship style of parenting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and now now since Aunt Alexandra's here, she's trying to get them to be more proper. There's more rules, it's all that. And she's just there to bring back the Finch family name, and she's trying to bring back the properness of the family.
Yeah, and then I feel the structure's definitely gotten a little more messy. Now with Aunt Alexandra being there, they're coming home, or they're just there and they're still getting critiqued.
Yeah.
Aunt Alexandra wants them to do certain types of things that they're not used to. So it's just weird for them. So it's changing a lot.
Yeah, I think they're also getting two sides of parenting. It's very strange for them. And Aunt Alexandra is not only affecting Atticus and his parenting, she's also affecting Scout. Scout has always respected her father and his morals, and now she's getting really confused about Atticus and how the trial is changing him, and she's just
yeah. And then for Jem wise, he wants to show that he's old enough and he's mature, so he's kind of not showing that much emotion about how the trial's affecting him.
Yeah.
But seeing Atticus like act a little weird and change his parenting is probably confusing. Calpurnia also probably feels out of place because like the aunt's kind of like neglecting her and having like weird things towards her kind of thing.
Yeah, like Aunt Alexandra literally asked for Calpurnia to be fired. Like,
yes, like but Calpurnia's been with them for like so long.
I know.
And then that like Atticus like stays there. It's like, bro.
Yeah, like just stop.
Get out of here. Get out of here. What about Dill? What do you think Dill's feeling?
Dill? I feel like Dill's kind of in the middle. I feel like it's very strange.
Yeah, because he comes back and then like there's like this random woman trying to tell
he doesn't
him,
know
like, trying to change all this stuff. Like he's probably never met him before.
Yeah.
And then like Dill and Jem were obviously super close because they were like leaving Scout out and stuff. All of a sudden Jem's like off doing other stuff because he's like older.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can move on to the third discussion question. You can ask it.
Okay. How is Jem's maturity shown throughout these chapters, and how does it affect Dill and Scout's perspective on Jem? Okay, so Jem's maturity is shown throughout the chapters when Jem is realizing what the trial is like actually doing to Atticus and how it's affecting him. Jem, and like he's like just trying to help Atticus out, like when Scout and Dill like want to like talk to Atticus, Jem is like, he needs like a break. Like Jem knows how much like pressure like the trial is having on Atticus, and he just wants Atticus to be as unbothered as he can be.
When Dill shows up, and then like Scout and Dill are like trying to like they're not sure what to do because they don't know how to approach this because Dill obviously doesn't do. He traveled a long way.
Yeah.
And then Jem kind of just like jumps to the position and he's thinking about the future and he like goes to Atticus. He's thinking ahead. So that's just a moment where he really just like jumps to like shows his maturity when he just like knows what to do.
Yeah. Jem and Scout are fighting in chapter 14. We see like all like the tension that the trial is having on like the family. And during the fight, Jem like decides to like hold back. He like is like, I don't really want to fight that much. I think that's because like he realized that like the fighting, like it isn't gonna do anything like about the trial. Like,
and, like obviously like Atticus stops the fight, but like I feel like during the fight Jem wasn't fully fighting like how they would when they were like a little younger.
Yeah.
So he was still like holding him back a little bit, and then when Atticus showed up, he was like, you know what, I should like. He like kind of realized because like he wants to follow Atticus all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go to the hot takes.
Okay.
So for our hot takes, we actually have a fun little surprise.
Spicy.
We thought that it would be funny if we had like hot wings, but like with super hot sauce. As we try to tell you our hot takes. So the stuff we're using, it says that it's like a level 5 spice factor.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay. Yeah. Okay, this is nice. Okay.
Go.
Yeah. Well, Aunt Alexandra is genuinely trying to better the family name, but her attempts are going wrong. Aunt Alexandra comes to Maycomb to keep the family reputation during the trial. She's focused on the idea of gentle breeding and telling the kids about the Finch family heritage. Wow, Aunt Alexandra has good intentions. Her attempts don't turn out so well. She uses ways like forced compliance that the kids aren't really used to. And Alexandra just kind of wants to help the family. And yeah, just the quote I used is, "No, I just want to explain to you that your Aunt Alexandra asked me, son, you know you're a Finch, right?" This quote shows that Aunt Alexandra is still trying to get her message across, even though the kids won't take it from her. She's trying to get it through her father, and she's like getting like Atticus involved instead.
Okay, my hot take is that the trial is like affecting Atticus like more than we're seeing and more than we think. So my reasoning for this is like Atticus is already under an insane. Are you eating more?
It's kind of good.
It's not good. It's getting worse. Atticus is already like under a insane amount of pressure, but he's kind of like trying to kind of like hide the kids from it, which is why we don't hear like a lot about how he feels except for like a few moments that I'll share later. Still, like she could have pulled up like any time, but she decides to pull up like when Atticus is going through all this stuff. So like obviously she was already there for a reason, but like I feel like Atticus was like really like he was like getting to the point where he was like, you know what, I'm gonna need some more help. So that's why he like asked Girly to come up. And then also Atticus probably stressing way more thick because the whole reason that she's there is because like she needs a womanly influence, like Scout needs that or whatever. But like we've seen that with like Miss Maudie and Calpurnia. So like that's kind of weird. So I feel like she like wants Atticus Atticus wants her to be there because like he's realizing that he's like really gonna start like getting in his head. And then that's why like there's a lot of influence from her to Atticus when like he like later is like starting to lose some of like the way that he's doing stuff.
Yeah.
My quote, I have to pull it up. It's on page 183.
Oh my god, it's getting worse.
Yeah, I know. Atticus' remarks were still rankling, which made me miss the request in Jem's question. My feathers rose again. You trying to tell me what to do? Nah. He got a lot on his mind now, without us worrying him. Like what? Atticus didn't appear to have anything especially on his mind. It's this Tom Robinson case that's worrying him to death. I said Atticus didn't worry about anything. Besides, the case never bothered us except once a week, and then it didn't last. Like this kind of shows how like Atticus is like if Jem can tell that Atticus is kind of like there's like a lot more going on than we think, then like obviously there's something going on. And it also shows that like Scout doesn't see that, which shows how like Jem's maturity is showing through, like how we were talking about earlier. And Atticus is like letting them get exposed to this stuff because he's in like that bind. Yeah. Anyway, that was our extraordinary podcast. Yep. I hope you enjoyed.
It was so super spicy.
Yeah. That's all.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.